We are going to be cleaning up and repairing the homemade track sled. You might remember from our Devil's Lake trip, took quite a beating. So we're going to be breaking this thing down, rebuilding it, basically just spray paint, fixing the torque converter, so hopefully we don't get a belt shredding 10 miles into an 11-mile trip, and putting a new exhaust or tailpipe on it, basically just getting it back up to good. Stick around. Welcome to Truckin' Outdoors. I want to show you guys what's going on with this now. She's taken quite a beating. Let's just say trucking is not easy on equipment. So we're going to be sprucing this thing up, maybe putting a couple layers of anti-corrosion down. You can see we got some not so good stuff starting. It's all surface, that's the good part. It's all surface. So we're going to clean this up with the wire wheel and then put another layer of anti-corrosion on there, maybe a couple. This hole coming out the side of the block right here, that used to be this. Used to sit just like that. But handlebars kind of broke it off. So we got a new one, we're gonna be replacing that. Got a new belt, we're gonna be replacing this as well. And when I lined this up, putting it together, I made the mistake of lining up these pulleys, this side right here. But this is not right. This is the actual side that has to be lined up. And you see that difference there? So we've got to put some spacers in on that pulley out there. Bring it out just a touch. And then maybe we won't blow a belt in the middle of absolute nowhere, making me have to walk back. Check it out. You see all this down here? That's all belt material. That's all burned belt material. So yeah, that's got to get cleaned up. The surface rust on this thing is just really not good. I got a special little surprise paint job for this. We're going to be going redneck fabulous camo spray paint job. You're gonna like it. First thing we gotta do, oh, that wasn't even, let's get this off. That wasn't even hardly finger tight. Oh, that's always good when you're 10 miles across a lake, no one else nearby civilization. It's just what you want to see. Finger tight bolts. Look at that. She almost blew. That was close. Junk. So there's the spacer that went in it. Basically what we're gonna have to do, get another spacer in here. Look at all the burnt rubber on that plate. Yeah. And what a guy should do is just take the motor right off of here, so you can get all up underneath it. So I'm gonna do the right thing and I'm gonna leave it right on there and just work around it. I'm gonna get the wire wheel out and just start going to town. Trying to get some of this gunk out of the bottom, this burnt up belt material. Sprayed a bunch of parts cleaner in there. Just kind of wiping it down. Getting everything cleaned up. Ready for primer. It's been about a week since I got this thing started being prepped for paint and repairs. Ended up getting busy, and you know, it was Sunday afternoon, and the small town that I live in only has one hardware store and one parts store. They were both closed, so I didn't have enough paint. But anyway, that week since the last time I was in here gave me the chance to get some parts back from, you know, the internet parts store, Amazon mainly. We got her all prepped up. I did decide to take the engine and the handlebars off just to help this process go a little bit easier. This is not going to be a perfect paint job. This is going to be a good enough paint job. Mainly, it's got to work. I am going to put the first coat of paint on here, and while that's drying, I am going to work on fixing up the torque converter. All right, got the torque converter back on. Just kind of mocked up here. This is not bolted in yet, but it's sitting where it usually is. I've already used all of the spacers that came with this kit. So I just got back from the hardware store, got some more pieces in. We're gonna add some spacers right into here and get that lined up with this plate here. Hopefully, we won't burn up any more belts. Okay, I think we have it. And it looks like all it took was one thick one and one thin one. And that looks pretty darn straight across. Of course, the right thing to do would be to, you know, get a laser or a measurement of some sort. But my eyeballs are highly calibrated, and I'd say that's pretty darn good. We're gonna run with it. Here's the issue. This little brass bushing that got torched. There was a big snowstorm, ice storm down south. The Amazon parts store order of a 2-pack of these was delayed. I've got an ice fishing trip that I'm taking Monday. Today's Saturday. I'm going on Monday. 2 days. According to the tracking, they just left Liberty, Missouri today. They ain't gonna be here by Monday. So I'm gonna try and roll with this one. I don't think it does a whole lot, I hope. Even if it stays locked, as long as it idles down, it's not fast enough that it's really gonna hurt anything. You know, if I gotta bump it into something to stop it, I don't know. Or it could blow the whole thing apart and we'd be stuck dead in the water. I don't know. We're gonna try it. Because that's how I roll. All right. I think that'll last for a trip. Nope, probably not. I'm gonna be walking. Anyway, the other thing we need to do is I got this cheap straight pipe for this thing. The reason why I got it is the original exhaust shoots straight back that way. And if you remember, the trapper box sits right here. So we can't have it shooting back that way. So I got this one here because it comes out and up like this. Well, this was the cheapest thing I found on Amazon, of course, and it just got disintegrated. So I got a new one that's a little bit thicker, but I'm gonna modify it a little bit. Instead of coming up and out, looks goofy, and when it's coming straight out like this, the handlebars come down, bangs right on that tailpipe, and that's why this thing got so trashed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the new one that I got, and I'm gonna modify it so it goes straight up. And then I'm gonna put one of those little tractor flappies on the top. I think that's gonna look really cool. So here's the new one. As you can see, it is stout, but gotta modify it anyway, because this will not clear the trapper box. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grind that off right there, put it straight up, weld it back in place. Helps to have power. Try it again. There we go. When you're doing stuff like this, make sure that you don't wear safety glasses so you can see what you're doing. I mean, don't worry about all that metal flying in your face. You know, safety third is what I always say. Okay, don't mind all the burrs. I still got to clean them up. But that's going to be right where we need it. Look at that. Might actually work. Look at that precision welding. There's one thing you will never, ever, ever hear me do, and that's brag about welding. I am not a good welder, but doesn't matter. It'll work. That ain't going nowhere. And we even got the flapper. Oh yeah, that is gonna look awesome. Before we go to painting and putting this thing back together, I wanted to go a little bit more detailed and show you what it took to build this thing. I did it myself. This is a tunnel, track, and slide from a 1990 Polaris Indy snowmobile that had a junk motor. Instead of rebuilding the motor or getting a new one, I decided to go this way because it's a lot more portable for ice fishing. This is just an awesome ice fishing rig. First thing I did was I cut everything off of the snowmobile. Everything. Just Zeused it right off with the lightning wand. Got it all down to this. Kept the chain case. This is the original chain case. Took the brakes off. Don't need brakes. We don't need brakes. Safety third. And I took the jack shaft, cut a hole out here. I ordered this. I didn't know exactly what size it was, so I ordered like 4 different sizes. This was the best size to fit, and it's able to fit right up underneath here without hitting the track. So I had my buddy who's got a machine shop. He machined out this keyway, and we were able to put this sprocket on the jack shaft and then put it all together. And I built this frame. Look at those booger welds. I mean, there's more boogers on this thing than a kindergartner. Again, I will never brag about welding, but it works. This is just a universal mounting plate for the Predator motor. I did find that I needed to put a little bit of support down here. It was starting to flex a little bit, but other than that, it's not bad. Mounted it all up. This has been a really good fishing rig. I highly recommend building one. If you got a junk sled laying around, you can build one of these out of any sled you want. They are so easy, simple to make, and just a lot of fun. Highly recommend. So this is what I got planned for paint. I thought a nice winter camo pattern would be really cool. My brother taught me a method of camo painting that I'm gonna employ today. He showed me how to do it on one of my AR-15s. Unfortunately, all of my AR-15s were lost in a tragic boating accident. It was horrible. They're all gone. All of them. What can you do? Anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I've got this mesh here, and this is the mesh off of a laundry bag that I bought at Walmart. And I just cut up chunks of this. When I did it before, they had a little different mesh style. The mesh was thicker and the holes were smaller. So I kind of had to settle for this. I'm gonna test to see how this looks, and if I don't like it, I can just paint right over it again. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lay this down over top of the track sled. You know, it's black right now, and then I'm just gonna spray paint white over top of this. And this, it'll show a nice black pattern underneath of it. Maybe it'll turn out looking like a Holstein cow. Whatever. We're in Wisconsin. It works. So the paint that I'm using, the black, is just camo. Flat black camo paint. And then this is just flat white paint plus primer. Nothing fancy. What you do with this pattern, lay it on here. It's not going to be straight. Actually, the more crooked it is, the better it looks. The more mistakes you make, the more character it gives. What I was afraid of, it's a little bit too thin. So it's okay, but it ain't great. So I think I'm gonna try something else. This is a foam mat. like you find in your, lay down for your dishes in your sink or whatever. That's all this is. And it's still green from when we painted my now lost AR. It's so sad. I liked that gun. Too bad it's at the bottom of a lake somewhere now. Yeah, that looks a little better. Don't mind the runs. But I think this could work. Oh yeah, real light sprays is all it is. I'm going to finish the rest of this up and do the big reveal at the end. Stay tuned. All right, here she is. New and improved. Actually, old and improved. But we got the new paint job. We got the new flapper. I've always wanted a tractor with a flapper. Well, now I got a Tracksled with a flapper. It works. We got the belts lined up, the pulleys lined up. Hopefully she'll make her more than 10 miles. I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out. Everything's back together and she's ready to fish. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We're gonna be taking this thing out on the ice real soon. Comment below on what you guys might wanna see coming up in the future. Otherwise, thanks for watching. And as always, keep the shiny side up. We'll see you next time.